My name is Kevin Jackson. I'm a World Olympic champion, a world champion in 91, 95, Olympic champion in 1992. I was the USA's national freestyle coach for 10 years. I was a resident coach from 98 to 2000. I've coached on 3 Olympic staffs, including being the head coach of our last 2 Olympic teams, 2004, 2008, with the opportunity to coach Brandon Slay in 2000, Cael Sanderson 2004, and also Henry Cejudo in 2008. I'm currently the head coach at Iowa State University, pursuing young athletes to get to Iowa State, pursuing young athletes, recruiting them to Iowa State to pursue their academic career and academic goals and their athletic goals.
What would you look for in a wrestler? What kind of wrestler are you looking for at Iowa State?
First of all, we look for an athlete that's a student athlete, that understands that he's coming to college for the big picture, and the big picture is for him to walk away from Iowa State University with his degree. Secondly, it's for him to produce on the mat. They kind of go hand in hand because you have to have some results. As a coach in my position, I have to have some results. So I'm looking for an athlete that understands that his responsibility not only is to perform on the mat, but to perform in the classroom and to perform at a very high level in both areas.
So how did you get started in wrestling?
Well, my older brother wrestled. He was a year older than me, and like any younger brother, he started 7th grade junior high, where they had a junior high program. He started competing, and like any other younger brother, you follow your older brother, and I just followed him to practice one day and started competing from there. I remember him going to a tournament, I think it was in Joliet, Illinois, and weighing in for that tournament, and my mother actually took us, and she seen that I was excited or interested in wrestling, and she asked me if I wanted to participate, and she ran out and bought me some shorts. I weighed in, and she sat in my corner as my first coach, and that was my first wrestling experience. So basically I followed my brother and did what he did, and enjoyed the sport and had some success early in the sport, and I think I did win my first match, and that was that.
Nice. Through high school and further on, why don't you explain how you went from that point, and just how you went to the Olympics? What did you do in those stages of high school and after high school to get to the Olympics?
Well, I know that there's many stages that you go through in order to get to be Olympic gold medalist or even make a world or Olympic team. I didn't start wrestling until I was in 6th grade, so I was a lot older than some younger kids that start competing at a very, very young age at 6, 7, 8 years old. I was a lot older than that. But my goal was just to be a champion at whatever level I was at. So in junior high, it was to be conference champion. A freestyle, be state champion. Once I got to high school, it was to be the state champion. Once I got to college, it was to be the NCAA champion. Once college was over, you have to kind of reevaluate and see if you still want to continue to wrestle, because I didn't accomplish my all-time goal to be an NCAA champion in college. So I kind of had to reevaluate and realize that there were bigger and better wrestling goals for me to accomplish. There was the World Championships and there was Olympic Games. So once I got out of college, then I pursued being World Olympic champion. At the same time, I think one of the things that allowed me to get to that point was the confidence and belief in myself that I was a champion, no matter if I won or lost. Even though I didn't win the NCAA championship, I still believed that I was the best wrestler in my weight class in that tournament. And so I think to carry that confidence into your wrestling, no matter what level it is, no matter if you won or lost matches, to still continue having that confidence allowed me to move on to have some success internationally.
Tell me what you hope for the future of wrestling, especially wrestling in the United States, and some of the challenges that you see as a wrestler in the wrestling community.
Well, I mean, the challenges that we face as wrestling people is having Division I and Division II college programs being dropped. I mean, we have lost several programs over the last 20 years that has affected our sport, that's had a negative impact on our sport. We've lost weight classes at the Olympic Games that has negatively impacted our sport. We were a sport that included everyone, from the smallest person to the biggest person. Now we have weight limits on our heavyweights, which I'm not sure is a bad thing, but obviously there's a limit there, so that's changed. And we also have 7 weight classes instead of 10 or 13 weight classes at the Olympic level. So I think that's been the most devastating thing that's happened to wrestling. And then the next thing would be, wrestling programs being dropped. Several thousand kids wrestle in the United States, but there is only 84, I think at last count, maybe 84 NCAA Division I wrestling programs. So opportunities to wrestle at the Division I level, to receive a scholarship from a BCS school or a national Division I school, have been limited to our athletes. Therefore, it hurts our total development as we move forward as a country to try to get world and Olympic champions. So we face elimination to a certain extent. Now, we're always going to have programs like the Iowa States, the Oklahoma States, the Iowas, the Oklahomas, the Penn States, the Ohio States, teams that are traditionally strong and care about the sport, not only within the university but within that state. Care much about the sport. So they're always going to maintain that strength. They're always going to be strong. But it's some of the other communities, some of the other states that wrestling might not have the foothold in that we constantly worry about. So we face a lot of challenges as a sport. But the bottom line is that wrestling produces quality young men, productive young men that are integral parts of our society. Quite a few of our great leaders, our presidents, have been wrestlers. And so there's not anyone out there that can say that wrestling does not teach determination, perseverance, discipline, desire, dedication, and everything that makes a person successful. Wrestling encompasses, including, it's a lot like life. When you're out there on the mat, it's you performing, making the decisions, whether you win or lose. When you come off the mat, your coach can tell you what you did wrong, what you did right, and you can continue to get better, you can continue to evolve. You're also going to suffer loss. You have to deal with that loss. You have to continue to work hard to get better. That's just like life. You're on your own, although you're getting directions from a lot of different sources. Your parents, your coaches, your peers, your friends, whatever. But at the same time, you make the decisions that are going to determine whether you're going to be successful in life or you're not going to be successful. So wrestling carries over directly to life. That's what I explain to all athletes and people that I come in contact with when we discuss wrestling, and it is an integral part of our culture, and I think everyone truly knows and understands that.
I asked Dan Gable this a couple of years ago, and I'd like to ask him all the wrestlers that I interviewed and the young ones. When you were young, who were your heroes?
When I was young, I was exposed to the sport first through ESPN when I watched the NCAA tournament wrestling on TV for the first time, and I see Nate Carr wrestle. And so right away, watching Nate Carr wrestle and watching him win an NCAA championship out of Iowa State, right away he became one of my heroes. Also, Lee Kemp was a name that you heard quite a bit about. I got a chance to go watch Lee Kemp as I was a junior at the World Cup in Toledo, Ohio, so he was a hero of mine. But, I look at all wrestlers that have had success that were competitors that promote the sport, that love the sport, as my heroes. I wrestled on a team with Kenny Monday, Dave Schultz, Bruce Baumgartner, John Smith. They were my teammates, but they were also my heroes because I strived to be what they were, what they accomplished. And so to be able to be on the team with them, to realize what they were doing to have success internationally, realize what kind of men they were, allowed me to have my success. So I have several heroes. I look at a Bobby Douglas and a Dan Gable. I look at them in the same light exactly. The passion, the love that they have for the sport is unmatched. It's just unmatched, the things that they want to do to uplift our sport, and we need more men like them in positions that allow them to do what they know is correct for the sport.